preparing to live stream. Setting up your meeting, redirecting to YouTube. And we are now live streaming on YouTube. So good evening and welcome everyone to our first show in this series called Virtues, the Virtuous X Life. And I'm very happy to be back with my brother, Josh X. How are we?
I'm very happy to be back, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much for being here with me at this present time.
Well, we are starting a movement, Josh. You know, that's basically why we're here. We are here to live a virtuous X life. We're going to get all these incredible beings with us, and we are going to create an incredible planet and a 5D life. So I just know people are joining us. I'm just going to wait until a few people join us. So when you join us, let us know that you are coming on. Say hello in the chat. We're just going to give it a few minutes while people are jumping on. And if you could be so kind as to share this video, that would be absolutely fantastic. We really want to get as many people as we possibly can here this evening. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to give it a few minutes while people join us. And I'm just going to share it.
The most important thing that one can come to realization with before the self is this virtuous system.
Well, I can't wait to tell everyone about this evening, because it's like, this is the stairway to enlightenment, basically. And we're going to be sharing, obviously, with our audience how they can join in and how they can really create the most magical life. So everybody's joining us. Say hello, Winnie. Hello, Austin. Hi, guys. So we just please share. Excellent. Okay, we're just going to give it a moment or two. Okay, so people coming on. So you are currently in Spain, Josh, is that right?
I am. We have blue skies, 22 degrees, and it's a wonderful temperate climate at this present time. It's perfect.
Fantastic. And are you making your way to India, still the plan?
The plan is still to go to India and spend some time out there and look the land, see if it's the right place for us. But for now, we cannot board a ship without the test, so we're just navigating our way around that, creating a different pathway, and I know that we'll get there, so there's no fear. I just allow life to align for me. Do not go against the laws of nature.
Absolutely.
Let it work for me.
So when you say the laws of nature, what do you mean?
Within our existence, there's a fundamental energy field that is constantly flowing with energy, whether it's negative or positive. And we can choose to go against it, or we can choose to be with it. And the only thing that allows us to go against it is the identity or the person that we believe that we truly are. And we get involved with small dramas and have relationships with things that aren't necessarily true, and create beliefs. And in those beliefs, we have passions and power, and we put our energy and focus it to a certain field modality. And the one that I choose to focus on is to accept life in its present moment, which is one of the highest virtues, acceptance. Because of the workings that I've done with these virtue systems, allows me to see energy rather than to see the physicality. So when you have an understanding of energy and how it flows and interacts with you, you know that to go against energy is to almost bring yourself into an identity. And the reason why we have this physical body and all the pain expressed through it is it's almost a tool for this earthly realm to take lessons from life. And we all know life is the greatest teacher. And this body, this mind, and the emotions that we carry are the sensitive pain body receptors that we feel when we go separate from source or God. So the path of least resistance is to truly surrender to life, because everything is happening and it's always for you, not to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. So we've had quite a few more people join us. So I'm going to set the scene now. I was just waiting for people to kind of jump on. Anybody out there who's part of the Dharma Life Academy, please help us get the numbers up, and please help share this into groups. We want as many people as we possibly can on this live this evening. So to set the scene for you, I'm very happy and privileged to be partnering with the incredible Josh X and his beautiful, beautiful family to be creating the Virtuous X life. And we're going to be sharing with you this evening what the Virtuous X life is. But the intention for this work is to really have a huge impact on the planet and to start a movement of people living in a high vibrational way. And the virtues really is the ladder and the real secret and the key to enlightenment. So this is Josh and Michelle's baby, and they've shared it with me, and I feel very privileged to be involved. And so tonight we're going to share what we're doing, how you guys can get involved, and why you want to come on this journey with us. Like, what is it about being virtuous that will have a positive impact on our lives, at this kind of critical time in humanity's existence? So Josh, do you mind just before we start, could you share with the audience? So some of them will know who you are, some of them won't, and I'll do the same. If you don't mind just sharing a bit about who you are, what you do in the world, and how you come to be running your community.
Mm-hmm. Well, who I truly am is the same as everyone else. I am the observer of this existence and this reality, but if I choose to identify myself within this physical world, I'm Josh, and I've spent a long time trying to master the elements within this physical experience, accumulating a wealth of knowledge and gnosis to do with the occult, human biology, physiology, how the mind functions, and every aspect within our matrix, uncovering the lies and deception to free myself to a certain level, and then really going inward and doing the work within inside of myself, taking apart the mind, opening up and accessing doorways that aren't naturally there, and then rearranging everything to a new perception to allow me to see on a very high perception. And it's been a lot of work. It's something that progressively happens with action, and continually, making actions and steps. You will also find yourself in a position to greater awareness every single day. And I guess that's truly it. I am here to point people to the self, to the areas that we may have missed, to guide, to show light in dark areas so we can all progress. I also am known for food and healing, because I have a real understanding of the human health and what foods we should be consuming. I have a wonderful Patreon family, and we go through different courses every month to improve ourselves and taking the steps towards atonement, which is the at-one mind. And this is the self. Also, in my observations of life, I was able to observe English language from an angle where most people are taught, and we perceive from the taught, or the how could you say this word I'm looking for at this particular time? You're trained. You have a trained thought. Now, anything reined, we have T as a physical, the rein is holding you back. You have reins for children, these hold them back. You have T reiners for your feet, these stop your feet earthing with the ground, allowing reciprocation of your energy. So I was able to see language in its natural state, and then I deciphered every single letter and word and brought a new type of etymology and a new type of language that proves, like numbers do, that numbers do not lie, reference Pythagoras, and language and letters also do not lie, and they reveal the truth. And I have this aspect to share with humanity, and this is coming forth, and people are starting to truly understand it.
And it's fair to say that you kind of started your journey, like your consciousness journey, around the age of 7, from what I've heard you say before. And it like virtues is probably the sum of everything. Would you say, coming together? Can you kind of explain a little bit about the virtues, and then I'll explain a little bit about my journey?
So that I would truly say that our life is not a not a virtual reality. It is a virtuous reality. And, we've all heard within the truth movement or the awareness that everything is energy. And when you truly understand the virtues and you embody them, and you are a master over every single element within these, life is non-physical. You will truly lift the veil of your physicality and see beyond this veil of physicality into the realm of energy. Now, energy itself is the play between all particles. You truly understand intuition, emotion. You have complete awareness of what another being is feeling, thinking, just by having the energy interaction. So not only that, you see what you do on a day-to-day basis and how it affects your reality. So by projecting yourself and holding yourself to a certain level of virtue, you have the keys and secrets to life itself. There'll be no more stress, no more anxiety, no more pain, no more fear. This is the easy way to transcend the ego. But this still is objective. And there's one thing final, which would be the final guardian to pass after you've accumulated this gnosis from the virtues, which
Fantastic.
is the abyss.
Fantastic. So as you can tell, guys, Josh has had an incredible journey. And you're what, 34, 35?
Yeah. So
the amount of knowledge you've amassed in such a short space of time, really, obviously lifetimes and lifetimes of knowledge. And I know that we've had lifetimes before, because it's just I just feel it. It's, I feel that we've been doing this work together for a while. And I'll just share a little bit about my story, my journey, my background. So I did not start my consciousness journey at the age of 7. I didn't really know what that was. I was born into a very, what I would call middle-class family, that I thought was a very functional middle-class family until the age of 28. When I discovered at 28, when I had my spiritual awakening, that actually what I thought was a normal family, all the shadow aspects came tumbling out in one conversation. I discovered then about my family's history of depression and drug and alcohol problems, and my mum's kind of suicide problems. And that was a very big spiritual awakening for me in that moment. It was my Saturn's return. And I was guided to where my mum had tried to commit suicide. That experience really woke me up to that there was more to life than I could see. And then from the age of 28 to now 43, I have been very much on my spiritual purpose path, learning initially lots of personal development. And then I was very attracted to spiritual work and spiritual development. And I've had my own communities of transformational leaders. And then I was very attracted to purpose and Dharma and the Buddhist teachings. And then I found myself running a community of people who are doing their Dharma and uncovering their purpose. So I suppose my area of love and expertise is soul purpose. And I work with the Akashic Records and helping people overcome their karma. And what is so exciting about the work we're going to do together is the virtues that Josh is going to talk us through this evening really is a combination of all of that incredible work coming together to help humans climb this ladder to enlightenment and also change the planet. So Josh, can you kind of, first of all, before we get into the virtues, can you sort of say, like, how did you kind of come to be testing this? Was it a download that you got? Okay, I just need to look at the virtues and look at the sins, or how did it go from being a concept and an idea to really you playing with it and making it a life practice?
I think it was the synchronicity with the sevens. So, the 7 itself is the S-even, the even sine wave, and all the colors are projected from the sun itself, the incandescent light, which is the pure gold, which is aura. Aura itself is A-U-Ra, which is the golden sun. Now, you see the prism spectrum of light. phonetically prison and prism are very similar. And if we can picture this earth here, and our physical body is the training ground, we have this chakra system, which is chakra, the house of the sun, or seeing the vibration of the alpha balance with the sun. And this is the purpose of this, the energy centers we have. If we can visualize them as traffic lights within our body, and when we feel certain resonance within these areas, they show us ourselves and certain aspects that we need to work on. So it was, it was actually Michelle who was, I was teaching Michelle, and Michelle was seeing these things and come across the virtues. And she turned to me and she said, "This is the secret of everything." She's put all the ideas that I had given her. And, I'd come across them at a very young age, on my journey through my vast, expansive intellectual buildup of my mind. So then we started to really test it through life and truly jump into this with our hearts, bodies, our minds. And because we were at a very stage of subtlety and purity, we were able to observe every single virtue itself interact with us and bring us to areas of light that we would never have been able to see. So again, I'll stress it. This flips your sight from physicality to energetic. So you can truly perceive the world of energy. The veil will be lifted. You will see what actions you take and the ripple effect that it has in this electromagnetic universe and how it will always come back to you. And you will then know rather than believe, this building your temple up to such a level of perception that you only have one thing to do after this, which is to meet yourself.
And we always hear, don't we, that energy, that life is, everything is energy, and life is a mirror. And that's exactly what you're saying with this, because when we are putting out positive energy, effectively, that positive energy is coming back to us. So if we can interact moment to moment, conversation to conversation, situation to situation in that higher vibrational place or state, then those ripples, I got this vision of that going out through the universe and then circling back in a positive way.
All is perception. And see, this is the ultimate truth. And as we share and unveil the truth, most beings within the truth movement are sharing and unveiling lies. So the lies carry a really negative vibration with them. And when we truly think we're sharing something that's going to free people, we're sharing anxiety, we're sharing fear, we're sharing depression, we're sharing these types of things from us. So as we share these things around, there's an energetic field that brings it full circle and it comes back unto you.
So because that's massive for everybody listening, because obviously we're going through this massive awakening on the planet right now. And, as an awakened being, we want to awaken others and we want to have this huge, global awakening of people standing up for themselves. So how do our listeners, because what you're saying is if we're sharing negativity or we're sharing lies or deception, even though we won't necessarily know that, it's going to come back twofold almost. It's the finger pointing, isn't it? With the, what you point, you get back. So for our listeners who are wanting to, stand in the truth and to support and to help others, is the virtues the way to do that?
The only way. It's the fastest shortcut to allow your perception to grow to such a rate that you can find the self. Now, this is the goal of everybody. There is no other thing for this experience here than to be lost in the realm of duality, to then find the true self, the non-objective self, the only thing that cannot be perceived, the thing that you are. And as a person within this experience, that person there can never, ever find the self. So what this is a step to be able to progressively understand, to be able to perceive higher day by day, to slowly interact with the world, with the earth as an energy. And then as you do it with the energy, because everything is perception. and it's only
Okay.
your perception that matters. So we can go into a virtue called acceptance. This is one of the highest virtues out there. But to truly understand the objective nature of the world and its purpose is to go through this system to come out with this gnosis. So we all, on the journey of awakening, we should say, we see the world, we see the lies, and we uncover the lies. And then we focus on the lies and we try to share the lies because our identity or our ego wants to pull other energies in with us, so we feel more empowered by more beings with us, and then we feel like we can make a change. But see, acceptance is to surrender every aspect of this experience to the oneness, to God, because everything is perfect and as it should be. But how would you ever perceive that everything is perfect and as it should be? This is a difficult thing. The only way you can do it is with energy.
So how does that translate between humanity then coming into their sovereignty? Because again, this whole shift in consciousness is about us refinding our sovereignty, our personal freedom. How does that kind of counterbalance?
Well, you see, we're never going to be able to change the course of an energy form or a spirit that's entered this realm. So the world itself, do not love the world or anything in it. This was left for us, but it serves great purpose. Once we've awoken to the world, we should never try to change the world, because the world is the very thing which awoken you. So it serves a massive purpose within the realm of duality. The energy form that we were previous to duality, we chose to be birthed here into duality so we could speed up our evolution and consciousness through this process. So the thing that really truly awakens us, and every energetic form within this reality needs to go through the experience of the world with the world to awaken their self. You then try to mess with this energy, you try to change it, you try to point out the holes within it, and in doing so you're not accepting the true function of it. So
the true function of it is to cause pain in our pain body, but then it awakens us.
Order out of chaos. It's not the controllers trying to create order from the chaos. The chaos is creating order within you. So the order from this chaos is actually the chaos within the world, and it's down to each individual here to rebalance themselves through this whole journey.
So unpacking that a bit more is, obviously people are talking about the fact that the collective shadow is coming up at the moment. So this is because none of us are in balance, is what you're saying.
And also, everything is relative to the point in time we're at, but we must remember that consciousness itself and everything in this bracket of consciousness is perfect. So as we're in this moment in time, we see the corona pop up. Now, the coronavirus itself is the mechanism of awareness, bringing us to a point in our experience that is going to separate the meek, the ones that have awoken to a certain level of state that want to inherit the earth, and the ones that are still lost inside a false doctrine, mind, concept, illusory matrix, that still need constant governing of their mind, that still need progression here in this realm. The whole earth itself is not going to wake up. It can't do that because every single entity within inside this realm needs to go through the cycling of the karma or samsara. So there's an environment being created via consciousness itself for us to be able to express ourselves honestly as we've awoken to this level within this particular point. So I see nothing's really changing for the world. It's just going to get more difficult to free yourself from intellect.
But can we not create the new world with the virtues? Can we not, by living virtuously, we can then use that energy to create the world we want to live in?
Of course. And this is why everything is perfect. And as we make these changes ourselves, consciousness, we are consciousness. So it recognizes that. And every time we express ourselves in a certain way, energy changes. So the more of us that are awoken to this state of virtues, the more it's going to align for us within the background and present scenarios for us to be able to go and be as we wish. So this development within ourselves is only going to catch on. But again, everybody has to be at a level to be able to receive this and to be able to put it into practice, to then bring forth the manifestation of the truth, which is their desire, and the will that's burning inside of everyone on a physical level.
So the more and more people that kind of step out of the matrix, for want of a better term, and start to create their reality through living virtuously, we can create this new energy, this new world. Almost the way you described it to me was almost like a sort of its own little, well, it's little, big, its own 5D consciousness as such. Or
yeah, it's going to be, and everything that we do to create ourselves, see, even going into the other awareness that man itself has created all these concepts, all these ideas, and artificially trapped themselves within a legal system. But that system there is so perfect that we can't mess with it. It may be adapted and changed over time, but this is why I'm constantly trying to reverberate this. It is so perfect, and we must come to the acceptance that every being within this expressive earth is here for a particular reason. And they're not here to, be a good hairdresser. They're here for conscious evolution. They're here to expand awareness, and they're here to find themselves. We asked to be here. We chose to be here. We chose to get lost and be separate from source. And the only way you will find yourself there, in my opinion, in the shortest route possible, is the virtue system. There is no greater gift to humanity, no greater key than the virtues, to live virtuously. But it's not just a concept, it's an action, it's a state of being, and it's progressive. And the more that you do this, you take away the programmings previously, which is a deconstruction of the mind. But as the virtues and how we teach them will truly give you inner standing to be able to comprehend what it's doing to you. And then you'll continually grow. And everybody likes to be able to feel some sort of resonance or a rise in their vibration. And this happens to you on a day-to-day basis. Every day you resonate higher.
Well, I can totally see it, because when we did, our abundance challenge, everybody was, for that week, they were going out and they were doing random acts of kindness, and they were giving and they were serving, and the energy and the vibration in our group in a week was incredible, just because everyone was coming from this virtuous place.
Yeah.
So imagine doing that in every interaction, moment to moment. So it must take some practice, because obviously this is where our reactions get in the way, and we want to respond quickly, or we get triggered, and our shadow aspects get triggered, and our karma gets triggered, and we're fighting with people. So how do people start to live this?
By going through the steps with us.
Good answer.
Yeah. We've had like a micro course with our Patreon community, and I can honestly tell you that people's awareness has grown so much, and I'm seeing so many beautiful energies come through and really interacting with energy. And on our group, people were interacting, saying they tested this, tried this, and it opened up a doorway here.
Right.
You're going to be stuck within life. You're going to be wishing things were happening, but it was always a block. It was a block by the fear or lack of acceptance or lack of patience, and just small things. Visually you can experience, and everybody's done this. People are rushing, okay, and they make mistakes, but those mistakes are the lack of a virtue, because patience is a virtue. When you're not patient, a thought demon will manifest itself, and you'll have a constant chatter. This is the aspects of your shadow self. This is areas that need to be worked on. You see, as a constant commentary. And this is what causes almost a separation, even from the person, into a state of, delusion and a feeling of being lost.
Mm.
But truly, that's only dealt with because the lack of awareness within the system of virtues. And if you were truly patient at that time and existed in this present moment, all of these things would have naturally aligned for you with the energies that are serving you, because nothing is against you. Everything is happening for you, for your awareness to be awoken or your consciousness to expand. So it's those subtleties. So if someone's rushing and in their house, they got a table that's been sat there forever, yet they'll clip it with their toe. They'll trip over something. This is due to your unconscious nature and your lack of virtue, because all of the levels of the virtues apply to a level of awareness, which bring you to the state of presence, which allows you to live in the moment. And in that moment, you're fully conscious. If you lose or you'll become separate from the present moment, you're in a total state of delusion, creating worlds of illusion within your mind that separate you from consciousness itself, which is the pure state of being, the art of being.
The art of being, absolutely. And so Michelle obviously spotted this, and she's going to be joining us as well on these shows, which is going to be really fantastic. And then you guys decided to go and test it and live it. Like, how long were you actually living the virtues on a day-to-day basis for?
I would say it was
I suppose you are now.
Yeah, of course. You know, there's once you master the virtues, they stay with you. You know, it's not a struggle. It's just constant observation of how life is interacting on energy. For about 4 or 5 years, we've truly experimented dialogue with beings, how it interacts with human, how it interacts with animals, plants, trees, sun.
Wow.
The weather. You can truly manipulate the weather just by understanding the system of virtues. It's incredible.
The weather.
Everything.
You're going to have to give us more information on that. Wow.
Yeah. Everything that you interact with is an energetic form. If you wake up in the rising and you see the world and you think there's another cloudy day out there, you've already accepted the fact the energy is there. But behind that level, or the veil that's been presented with you, is a chance or an opportunity to grow through or past it. So by truly understanding this virtue system and this chakra system, because we have seven virtues and the 7 sins, and we got 7 chakras, we have the 7 sounds. Everything is about this wonderful number. So I would just say that as we progressively go through these systems, I would really love everyone to try to give it a chance, because I can assure you the development of yourself is going to happen light years ahead of anything else that's out there for you to progress with. This is unveiling the truth for you. There is no lie or deception behind this. It's truly a gift from the field itself. This is an interaction with life itself, but presented to you in a physical manner, so you can see with your tool for the material world what's truly happening as we've all lost connection with the self as pure awareness.
So you're basically saying that every single interaction that we make, we can actually bend time and space.
Every interaction you make, you can become a master of your own reality this way. You can master every interaction. Anybody that's unconscious out there, they are reactive. If you know how to be, you can use your magic that you've learned through the virtues to be able to get any situation to align for you. There's subtleties and levels of mastery that you will attain to, depending on one's study or one's innate passion towards this. And truly the passion for me will come from experience. So once you've experienced the true magic behind the magic of this reality via the system of virtues, it gives you the energy or the involvement to carry on, to keep breaking boundaries, because when life presents
it's like responding to you kind of it must be amazing to watch it unfold, because literally life is literally communicating with you every second.
Even in relationships, everyone's struggling at home with relationships, and we've come to a particular perception where we're just in a relationship, we're here to let life pass by, we go into arguments. This only happens because lack of virtue.
Mm.
Arguments only arise and they develop themselves and they become to a heightened point. But at any given time, we all have the opportunity to stop, to try to become present, to realize this was a dance with our person, the identity, beliefs, and all the other things. So not only will it help in aspects of seeing energy, it will help fix relationships. It allow you to function at work without any brain pain. If people are still having to engage in work to sustain their life, it's also going to give you a doorway out. Because one of the things that keeps us in work is lack of understanding the virtues, lack of surrender.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
If you surrender to the true aspect of creation, then you will know that at every moment you are looked after. And to be able to see this, and I'm not sure if this will help people, is that God has never left you, ever. You are awareness. But you chose to leave the awareness state and become identified with the world. So at any given time, you have this self observing this function on a day-to-day basis. And if you can align with it, the energies that surround you bring forth your manifestations almost instantaneously, open up doorways, and you will never need to work. Because as long as you express yourself honestly, which is your true self, you need not worry. You are constantly looked after and protected, because the only one that needs to learn a lesson is the person, the identity, the man of sin, not of virtue.
Wow. So we have an opportunity here as a collective to adopt this system, to live virtuously. And we have an invitation, I suppose, for our listeners. Over the course of the next 16 weeks, we are going to be doing, today is like a invitation and an introduction to the virtues. And then for 7 weeks, we are going to be doing a show each week about each individual virtue. And we're also creating a program that we would love you guys to come and take, where we're going to be breaking things down even further, going into the 7 chakras, going into the different energies. We're going to be breaking things down at a lot of deeper level. And really, the intention is to create a movement of people who are adopting living virtuously and
wizards, true magicians, true
magicians,
wizards,
yeah,
true magicians. This is truly what the magic of the realm or this world or the earth or whatever you want to call it is controlled by. And if you truly want change, you master this system, and your freedom is here for you to take. There's no, with no disrespect, there is no point messing with the world. There is no point having a look somewhere else. The truth lies within inside of you. Go on, sister. Sorry.
I was just going to say, because it's the universal laws. When we look at it, I suppose when we look at it like that, it's the universal laws of the planet. So of life. So you're not messing. Yeah, you're not. If you mess with them, that's all that happens. Is that energy comes back to them. Whereas if you learn to master them, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You can master anything.
And then it's just relative to your perception. Every single individual here has a world within their own construct. But if we can truly see or energetically within the same level, then together we can truly make a massive shift within beings, within our awareness. Like I say, acceptance is the key. The world itself is purposeful. It's Babylon, it's be-Abelon. It turns the right side on. It's the Kabbalah, it's the K-Abler, the balance that's enabled. It's the Kabbalah, see Abel. We're all trying to see Abel. You don't want Cain to leave you here. So the world itself is for Cain, and if you can transcend the world, then you become Abel. But this system will enable you. So this is the secret behind the Bible or mystics or religions, and it's really pointing you to be able to interact and action, to be able to clear all your past or your previous karma to bring you to a state and presence of now. And we all know about the power of now. Now that power of now here is freedom, it's pure freedom, it's pure love, and it's pure bliss. But that is one thing, to master every single element here while you're in this physical body, to be able to play, to be able to experience and interact with things that you may never have even dreamed of. To be able to know that a tree is conscious, it's aware, and you have feelings and thought, and to interact with it, with plant life and animals and beings, that we've not even felt yet. And if anybody's embarked on the food journey with us, and they've progressed on their food, they've done the juice fast, they've cleaned their system out, and they're on a raw living, high vibrational diet, I know that you've experienced or touched that energy. It just happens. It encompasses your being. It fills you up with light. And this is the path to enlightenment. We remove things. We become lighter. We don't uptake information. We remove things such as information, because information is
programming, patterns, shadow aspects. I bet you've got some incredible stories that you could share with our listeners about where you've practiced the virtues and doors have opened and incredible things have happened. So I'd love for you to share what they can expect if they join us on this journey.
It's so holistic. Even virtues themselves, to be true to them is to do what you know to your fullest. And if you do everything to your fullest, you're constantly progressing. So for my journey, it's just opened up every single doorway to allow me to reach heights of perception and consciousness that was never perceived by me before. And in every experience, I can't express that there's so many, and every single day there's just energetic forms present themselves to you, and every day is a smile because you are interacting with God. You're not interacting with matter, or you're not lost in any way, shape or form. So truly I can remember the first time that I was interacting with the element of fire, and me and Michelle were sat down. I know this is not too much of the virtue, but it's a way into the energy. And we were able to interact with fire and to reignite, and you can play with the weather, and you can create a storm, and you can make the storm go. And this is just energy itself and interacting with you. So I guess when I first started to perceive that the unconscious beings were actually, consciousness was actually working through them. So if you have true faith, true surrender, for an example, and I suggest no one to do this, but if you know and you surrender fully, and you just walk into a road from a mile away through several roads, and everything aligns for you for your perfect protection.
Let's not start with that though, please. We might need to work up to that one.
This is how it's all working for you. You are truly protected. The Father will look after you. We've all heard of this, the protection within the scriptures. But how do you find this protection? You need to remove the identity of the person. You need to remove the aspects of the sins. You need to become the virtuous light. You need to build your temple up through the actions of you, because no one will do it for you. If you keep looking externally for someone to save you within the world itself, this isn't empowering yourself. So you're falling trapped to the illusion. So this will just continually make steps to you really, truly have that knowing. And I can honestly tell you, the impossible is I'm possible. Your capabilities, or your capped abilities, are your capabilities. They are, your abilities themselves. This is the by light. This by light is from the Bible. This is the other ball. This is the Taurus energy. So this will not only help you in day-to-day life, it will turn your being from a electrical, positively charged masculine energy to a fully balanced, reciprocating magnetic energy, which then there's no more suffering, there's eternal life. So you're here to find eternal life, the truth within scripture.
And can we just talk about that a little bit? Because there's a lot of confusion on the planet right now. A lot of beings have spiritually awoken. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of different modalities out there. There's a lot of what I would say consciousness traps for individuals. They're wanting to be virtuous. They're wanting to do their work, but there is a real confusion, I feel, in the spiritual community about what that is. So could we just take a moment to talk through the energy centers and obviously the real work, like you were saying, to free up your energy centers, to become enlightened? Maybe we could just share a little bit with the listeners around, what the true work is while we're here.
Yeah. For example, we have guilt and we have fear, regret. We'll just stay with them for a couple of seconds. Now, when you have fear, guilt, or regret, you have a block within your energetic field and you'll feel it. So, like I said earlier, if we can imagine ourselves as having a traffic light system within our body, and these are our energy centers, and these are different frequencies of light that allow a whole vibration, and they're all separated through the prism spectrum within our body. We feel within our energy centers the block from fear, guilt within the lower energy field. Now, this has happened or spontaneously manifest because these are illusory thought forms. So if we take guilt itself, right, in this present moment, there is nothing happening. If one can live in the present moment, everything will always be all right. But because your mind itself or the egoic identity has picked up on an experience now and is manifesting via your thoughts, being focused on with your intention, they now create emotion. This is an emotion negative feel within your environment. But the truth is, there is nothing happening. You've fallen trapped to a form of thought. So if you can separate the identity from the thought, you no longer attach to it. Thus, the energy centers and karmas have been cleaned up and clear. But it's only these demons, these aspects of ourself that haven't fully been understood because we've never had the truth before, that we are finding ourselves in misery or suffering. So all we need to do ourselves is to be able to recognize the thought, the thinkiness, to be able to separate that from ourselves and to see that this is a part of the ego that's trying to keep us in a physical aspect, not allowing us to progress with our energy, to remove the identity from the world or the residue that's left behind with it.
So, but each energy center then has a different resonance though, doesn't it? It's almost a different, slightly different resonance. Yeah. The base chakra, for example, safety.
Violet, indigo, blue, green, and yellow, orange, and red. And if you go with the first letters and you roll down, is your G vibe. No, your G vibe. Violet, indigo, blue, G.
Or G.
Yellow, orange. Your G vibe. This is why G is the 7. This is the sine wave. So this represents your G vibration, basically, your God vibration.
Okay, so your God vibration. Nice.
Yeah.
So that is the work that we should be doing, is effectively opening up our God vibration.
And we're clearing and identifying and being able to put fingers on things. We're going to be giving, experiments, tests, and tasks. So not only will you get the information that will help it align, you'll be given certain tasks that's going to allow you to break through and see these things. Once you have that aha moment, then this is going to empower you to want more, to be able to see more, to be able to break more boundaries. And then as you progress with this, I can guarantee that your sight will be so much clearer. You will not be able to be deceived anymore. And then it's really up to you how you want to progress with this. Obviously, some people are going to be at different levels than others. But if you're looking for the highest truth, this is your shortcut to the highest truth.
I think that's the thing at the moment, is there's so many distractions. There's so much confusion, that nobody quite knows where to focus their attention and energy. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is focusing your energy and attention day to day, moment to moment, to be virtuous, to live virtuously, is the stairway to enlightenment,
to heaven. This is Jacob's ladder. This is why the 7 colors have been left there, the 7 steps. You have this, I think it was Jason and his magic dream coat.
Jason, the color dream cloak.
That's it. Everything here is all related to the same thing. Everything. And it's always been pointing to this. Now, it's up to you how long you want to play with the world itself. But I suggest that you master the world, you master yourself, and then you're able to consciously make a choice of who you want to be at any particular time within that world. But you're free from any judgment, you're free from any misery, any torment, any pain, and you're in a constant state of bliss. And in a constant state of bliss, you can serve humanity just with your presence. You know, this will take you back to your original state. This will show you your maker. This will bring so much enlightenment and freedom and fun. You see, we all want to play computer games. We all want to, you know, lose the function of the mind and get lost in some play of physicality. But if you can truly perceive that this vessel here is a tool for this realm, and you're in the best game that there ever could be, and you're interacting with energy, you have thought, you have emotion, you have feeling, you have taste, and you have something that you are back from all of that, observing all of this play that you've become lost from. So we find ourselves back to this position, which is the highest, which I don't think is right for this conversation we're having right now.
Oh.
You will be taken there as a part of it.
And then the other thing I'd love you to just unpack a little bit for our listeners tonight as well is that, again, there seems to be some confusion around the 144,000. You know, it's the Hopi prophecy is that there's 144,000 star seeds or awakened ones that are basically going to help the earth and help the planet. But your take on that is slightly different. It's more around vibration. So could you share that? Because I think there's so many misnomers out there. It's difficult for people to know what to trust and what the truth is. And that's one of the things that, again, we're really keen to shine a light on.
Every separate chakra contains a different vibration. If you add these chakras up, you'll see that they add to 144,000. Now, someone who will make it home, as the Bible says, you know, the 144,000 will make it home. It's not a set figure of beings. It is an energetic form, a magnetic body that everyone has the capability to reach. So this 144,000 is a fully activated chakra system, free from all energetic blocks. Your chrism oil, your pranic energy will be constantly full and vibrating at that frequency, which then activates this light body. And then this light body itself is just ever present. It's here, it's magnificence, pure magnificence. If you look at the word magnificence, it's magnifi-cence. This is all we need to do. It's all relative to perception. It's all relative to your senses, your awareness. So yeah, we don't want to get lost in stories. That's the hearsay and untruth that the Bible warned us about. And
that's how we escape the samsaric loop. Is that right?
Yeah, because you have to be fully conscious. You know, once you've found ego death itself, you never experience death again, because you're in the pure state of awareness and you're fully the watcher. See, this body itself was a tool here. So you see why my many masters, you know, the Western world is not very often presented with somebody who's truly on the journey. But when someone's not in a position to teach and they're just going through the journey of samsara and they're at that point where they've transcended ego, they usually just consciously leave the body. Because you wouldn't want to stay within a world of suffering. You wouldn't want to stay in an imperfect world when you truly know how to create the perfect world. See, as an observer in that awareness state within this realm really truly serves you no purpose. It's the identity that holds us here, unless we're trying to leave a piece for humanity to guide themselves up, which is what we're doing here, you know. But this is, honestly, I can't express how important this is to every single being on this planet. To live virtuously, there was an ancient saying, and I think I've shared it quite a few times, but he who governs himself virtuously will be like the pole star, with all the other stars revolving around him. You see, all these other stars are all the other beings here, but they revolve around you because you are the oneness and you truly see the aspects of creation and how it is. But if you're on the other side of it, you're not this pole. You're just being taken for a ride in life, and it's just something that spontaneously manifested itself, and you're just lucky to be here, and there's no life after this. truly you are life. Everything is life. It's just the
Aren't you?
Exactly.
I cycle down to do it again, to try and climb
So
the ladder again.
So samsara itself, you will never need to experience rebirth once you've consciously come to the awareness that you are the self. The ego itself has transcended, the vibration no longer needs it, and you are in full mastery in your own awareness.
That is the end game.
End game.
In this reality,
of this. Yeah. There is many dimensions after which the website that we have had created, and we're just constantly adding content right now, it's going to express the stages of the body, the stages of the enlightenment, the stages of light, the stages of the double light, and what we can truly go through when we're truly seeking this occult, the occult world itself, the hidden world that's not presented to us within the world.
Fantastic. So it's going to be a hell of a journey, everybody out there listening, which we would like to invite you on. So I'm just going to repeat what we're going to be doing. So tonight is like the welcome, the introduction, to sort of let you know about what we're doing and why we've kind of partnered up.
Mm-hmm.
Really intention for this is to create a movement of people living virtuously. And obviously you can see the ripple effect it could have on the world could be absolutely huge. So the intention is set that we really want to create the best possible reality we can. And we do that by living virtuously moment to moment. So for the next 16 weeks, we will be doing a show every other week, give you a chance to embed what you're learning. Every other week, we'll be going into the virtue. So what's the first virtue that we'll be talking about in 2 weeks?
We can pretty much start on any of them. I think patience would be a good one. Patience causes a lot of problems within beings. You could be sat in a traffic jam. You could be feeling a very bad negative energy response in there, but truly that's all going on inside an illusory world in your mind. So if you can perceive this and truly know that and separate yourself, you'll see that you were actually just sat there in a peaceful state where the mind was doing a dance, creating all this energetic response within you of uncomfortable nature, creating stress within your being, taking off your life expectancy, creating disease, and also breaking down every part of your world, until you've come to the purpose or the awareness that this is what's been doing. So without coming to these conclusions, you're always going to be recycling and experiencing negative effects. So the quicker we can do these things, that we're going to get to where we need to be faster. It's just going to bring so much peace to anyone out there. If you're the most stressed, raging being on the planet, if you can just see this, you're going to free yourself. I can guarantee it.
And so we're going to do every virtue every other week, and then it'll give people a chance to practice them, integrate them. And then we are building a program for people that want to go deeper over the course of the 16 weeks. And at the end of the 16 weeks, you can actually sign up for the waiting list this evening. You can actually purchase the program this evening. But at the end of the 16 weeks, there will be a fully fledged, in-depth program going even deeper than we will be going in these live shows.
And you'll all be able to interact with each other, so you can express what your experiences are, and you can interact with other beings on the same journey as you, share every moment that's happening. Within our Patreon community, it was just incredible to see people interacting and saying, I did this and this happened to me, and I got my best job I ever dreamed of, or I quit my job because I was living in fear, and now this is the line for me, and I'm making more money than ever, and I'm not doing anything. So this is going to be the key. And why I'd also like to say that, we're trying to create something very special across the plane. We're trying to create a community and different types of areas all over the planet, where we're going to have fruit forests, healing centers, and spaces where people can truly exist and exit the matrix themselves, try to create recognized societies that are completely separate from the entities that surround them. So we're constantly promoting, truth, organic, heirloom foods, creating bridges across the world so people can, experience and share other communities as they wish. So the foundation is being built here. And, as beings on this journey, it's not necessarily what people want to do or hear when it comes relative to money, but we are trying to now raise funds for this to be able to be put into action. So this is about supporting us, and in return, we're just sharing the ultimate truth with you. So if you can support us in any way, know that this is only going to one great cause, and this is to manifest communities, to bring forth organic heirloom fruit forests, and to be able to connect beings from all over the plane to establish this, not just in one space, but all over the planet. And then we will integrate as this separate entity from commercial world within a conscious paradigm of pure bliss, pure love. And then we can truly master every experience that we wish to be able to bring our creative mind and our desires to fruition, to be able to function up here instead of on the medium level. And all the free energy and everything that we all know to be true, we're going to bring to life. And we're going to exist in the highest format. It's not about returning to the earth and having nothing, just the earth. We can live to the fullest. We can still have these technologies, but we can create them ourselves. And the reason why they're there, and they've always been there, and every pattern has been there, but it's not available commercially, is because it serves no commercial value. But nobody's ever told you that you can't create these things yourself. And this is the journey. It's a big one, but it starts now.
It's creating the new earth effectively is what we're doing by doing this. We're creating.
Good shot.
Yeah. And it's a big vision, but it's a big dream, but I feel so right and feels so doable. And, people want it, need it. I really think that people are looking for a better way. How can we take our power back? The best way to take our power back is to being virtuous, and creating our reality through that.
See, money's not bad. Money is a tool and it can be used in any way. You can have a hammer to put a nail in, or you can hurt your hand with it. But the hammer in the right hand is going to be used properly. So, if we can start to get the money within the enlightened beings, this world will change, because that's the power. Unconscious beings themselves, we all know that when we speak to people on our journey as we've awoken to say, this is what's happening within the world. Do you not see that you shouldn't be working and you separate from your family, etc.? But the answer that I've always had when I was on that level of awareness was, I don't want to be at home. I wouldn't know what to do. I would be bored. I don't want to spend that much time around my family. I'd go mad. So that they would call it the working class, but every single aspect of our world has been built by the slaves as such. But the slaves have always governed themselves in a way that they have always been consenting to be there. It's just their level of awareness for being. So that serves great purpose again, is perfect. And the currency itself allows things to manifest themselves through every stage of development. I'm not sure if I've expressed that truly.
Well, I think what you're saying effectively is money in the right hands. The more money you've got, the more good you can do in the right hands.
And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to build something, because there's workers there that want to be workers, and then you use the currency, and these things can spontaneously manifest themselves within 6 months to a year. So this change can happen rapidly.
Yeah, well, it can be rapid. If you've got a movement of people who are living virtuously and who are creating the new earth, and then everyone gets to do their bit within the communities, doing the bit they love, expressing themselves in the way their soul would like them to express themselves. And as you said, it feels to me like we have to take our power back, but we have to create the world that we want to live in. Like you said, I think this is the thing. I think we have high hopes that we can change the existing one. But if we look at it from a different perspective, and we look at it actually, the polarity and the everything that's happening right at the moment is causing problems in our pain body to wake us up. So we then become conscious beings and create the reality that we want to live in.
Yes. If you're always looking outside of yourself at this particular point where people are at now, nothing will remedy itself. We are, even that most beings here are choosing to eat organically, etc., or whole foods. they're still being created commercially. The commercial food is completely backward to the truth. So even just to have a community where we're creating an abundance of organic heirloom foods that are right for human consumption is going to expand our awareness to the next level anyway. So these things set up for people is truly what's important. No pesticides, no bad soil, We need to areas and we need to create certain environments where we don't have chemtrails. These things are always falling on our soul, but they can be done. It's just having that structure, that trust technology, and being able to do it and interact with the commercial world itself. It's just something that hasn't been done before. Hasn't been done, but
I like a challenge.
It's here and it needs to be done. And we have the focus community. We have people that focus on law. We have people that focus here. We have people that focus here. And what we're doing is we're bringing everything to a level where it can be seen by everybody and then function together as we build this community. It's going to be incredible.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because I think where humanity and society has fallen down is obviously you do have people living at different interacting in different ways. But if they're all committed, if the people are committed to interacting in a virtuous way, then the reality that you're creating is a much higher vibrational community that is sustainable, and people then become committed to doing their work, and like you said, making a difference, growing whatever they want to grow, planting whatever they want to plant, creating communities.
That's all that everybody is. They're an expression. So you just express yourself honestly and things naturally come to fruition. Everybody's capped because they're going into work, into jobs that they don't wish to be in, and they're just trying to accumulate a wage. So everything has fallen from a point of creativity and expression, which people are in love with, to a capped, oppressive energy that just wants to get home. And there's a secondary, level of what we could be creating, because the compassion and passion has been,
yeah, no, people aren't in their dharma, they're not in their purpose, they're not living from that creative space, or they're not following their higher self. I've seen miracles happen in our community when people just commit to following their higher self. Amazing stuff happens and manifests. So what we're doing here is combining the two, which is just going to be so powerful.
And it's every aspect of your life. You take a look at every aspect of your life. Are you eating virtuously? Are you sleeping virtuously? Even the fact that, you may have the thought demon manifest because you wish to embark on a yoga journey, right? Yoga truly means the union of all elements. But for now, we're just going to look at the yoga stretching and how that works. People want to do it, but they're not doing it. So in that want, they're creating a demon of thought and lack of virtue, which would be diligence, because they're not making enough time or taking the necessary actions they need to do to be able to get themselves into that space that they desire. This thought form manifests itself, and it will constantly give you this nagging in your ear, which then brings you into a state of stress, disease, mental. It's a mental disease, but this is the realm of duality. But they're not understood, and all that's happened is because lack of diligence. So all you need to do now is to truly take that diligence to the level to be able to bring yourself to that space, and that demon, that thought goes. Thus bringing a clear mind.
Because I think that's everybody's fear, isn't it? That we've all been conditioned to work hard for a living. And then I suppose the greatest fear is that if we aren't working, that we won't have that money to have a living. And what you're saying is actually, if you're being balanced in every area of your life, because it's the same kind of concept, it's virtuous, but being in balance, in harmony, you naturally, everything is in harmony.
Of course, but you wouldn't know where to find the balance unless we had the virtues. So they've been accumulated through the wisdom of the ages to bring it to a space, and now we're translating it in such a way that people can actively, on any level of awareness, if they have faith, they can just do it and see the change. And if they have the awareness into this to see that it's actually going to change things, then just to interact with it on that level. So it's the only way. It truly is the only way to really take us to that point that's right at the peak here, before the self. Because you have this person, you have this spirit, and you have this mind. You have the mind attaching to the person, you have the mind sometimes being able to attach to this spirit. But all of these things here within this interaction of this pyramid are still observed by the highest. But to get to this point where there's no person, the ego has completely left you, this system will fill your body up with light.
And then from there, the world is your oyster. You're creating.
You're free from
moment to
karma.
moment.
You are free.
Free, literally.
Completely
Wow.
free from all aspects.
And they've talked about this, haven't they, in the biblical times? Can you kind of give us some reference from the Bible? Because they talk about the meek inheriting the earth, for example. So this is a way of us doing that by the sounds of things.
Yeah, the meek is the docile, the relaxed, the kind, the empathetic beings, the knowing, the ones that just want the earth to be restored.
They've twisted that as well, because meek, the meaning, or like most people think meek means mild or weak.
Yeah, submissive.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, but it's true, the calm, the one without reactive nature. To be reactive is to be from ego. To be responsive, I think that's a separate world. To think is one thing, to contemplate is another. I think one of my favorite verses, and there's 20 different types of similarities with this sentence within the Bible, is that God is not a respecter of persons. So all of the sinning brings you into this person. They bring you into the identity. They bring you into the world full of this calming debt of action and reactivity. If you think of it, God is the self, cannot see, because if we look at the word respecter, okay, specter or spectrum is light, okay? So God cannot look through the eyes of a person. Somebody that identifies himself here in this material world through thought, emotion, feeling, and these types of things to be the true, yet that's still observed by the self. See, this self here is consciousness, which is God, but as a person, God can't see through your eyes. So you have this belief, you have this identity. But it's only truly when you're the self that God can see through you as you, because you are it. So every identity that you have or problem with this system, you'll see that you're separate from God because he's never left you. But you can't see, he cannot see through your eyes when you identify yourself with the person. And that's reflected within the world via the birth certificate.
Of course, yeah.
And the person's dead. It's not real. Yeah. And this is just a reflective of duality within the spiritual realm and the physical realm.
Wow. So we're going to be bringing those together.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm still curious, like you talked about money and how people, when they act virtuously, then that becomes, they have enough money. So I'm just like, can you maybe elaborate what that looks like for our listeners?
So for one, if you fear or you believe that you have a lack of money and you need to go on a job, for example, if we said, I really want this job, I want to have this job here and I want to be paid this much, you see that you're setting yourself up to be in a realm of work. You're asking yourself to, job itself means persecution in Hebrew. So to have a job is to be persecuted every single day. And this is within the mind, because you know that you shouldn't be here when you're awake. Nature itself creates everything that man needs. All of the houses that are around us have already been built, yet we're paying for them. You see a builder go 16 in an apprenticeship till 60. And how many houses would that man have built? That man would have built his own house within the first 6 months, planted his garden, and after 1 year, he could have lived free his whole life. But because we choose to leave that aspect of truth and go into the world of Babylon as such, where we express pain and fear and anxiety and plastic and all of these things that need to be recycled to create these jobs to fulfill people's energy, none of this is needed. So as you choose to go back, you'll see this virtue system light up and truly know that everything you need is with nature. So then nature will work for you. But as you express yourself honestly, you know, if someone's a musician and they think, how am I going to make money? If you truly express yourself through music, you'll be rewarded, because consciousness itself will surround you with beings that love your music and love your expression, and that'll naturally give you the energy exchange you need. Someone that busts can make more money than someone on £150,000 a year.
Well, I've always put it, like phrase it like, when you're doing what you love, again, it's a very high vibrational state, because you're resonating at a high level when you're doing what you're put on this earth to do. And that in itself resonates out in the world and comes back to you.
And one of the sayings within the Bible themselves about manifesting, I think it was in the book of Thomas that was taken at the Bible, is to ask for what you want and then believe it's already here. And in that asking, you know, you're projecting the word, but then you feel that resonance, and it's truly that resonance that allows things to come to you, because it's all magnetism. If you're in a state of fear from leaving your job, you're going to be fearful about leaving your job. Thus, you're creating a scarcity mindset, and that scarcity vibration comes to you to keep you in a perpetual state of work, because you live in fear, and the pain body must teach you a lesson. Life is the greatest teacher. So until you've been able to overcome that via your physical vessel, your experience is always going to be the same. It's like hitting your head on the wall in the same spot until it bleeds. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. You need to adjustment. And that's the key, because your fortune is fortune, and you do it yourself.
Fake it till you make it.
You got to do it. It's important.
I hate that expression, but it is true in a way. It's like, you know, you do
yourself.
Yeah, well, I often talk to my family, and I can see them sort of, oh, they're worried about this is going to happen, and they're worrying about all this stuff that's never happened. And I'm like, please don't, don't do that, because you're basically calling it in,
they're
focus on
living it there and then over and over again.
Yeah. Reinforcing it.
Yeah. But they're living it there. It's not happened. But yet the thoughts themselves have overtaken the body. The emotional response is living the worst case scenario over and over and over again. And our body's in fight or flight. It's releasing cortisol, stress hormones that sit themselves within the muscle that breed acidity and disease. So not only do your thoughts play a role in the creation of your world, the world being your own individual perception, but the way that your body functions, the way that your mind functions, the way that every interaction with breathing and everything is affected by your state of being.
Well, if you're in, you're thinking all the time, you're in stories, you're kind of in this make-believe world that goes on in our ego mind. Like you said, it has repercussions on our physicality. And
mostly, this is one of the, if I choose to engage with emotion, one of the saddest things that you see is most being, or 99.9% of beings are in the ego state, and they live in the future or the past and never in this moment. And their children are running around truly blissful with the most pinkiest, beautiful skin and little tiny heartbeats and little tiny conscious awarenesses that are looking to learn from you, and they're growing as they observe you, yet you've never been still. You've never been in the moment. You've never given time to truly appreciate them on their journey. You don't stop, sit down and engage with them. And then before you know it, they're grown up, and everything that happens is causing you stress because you're always thinking about something, whether it's about a past or a future event, and none of that's real. This is going to also increase your ability to bring up children. Every aspect of your life is going to change for the better.
Well, having that time is a gift to be able to spend with your children. So this is the reality, guys, that we want to create for the collective and for people that want to come on this journey with us. So it's totally possible. It's totally doable. And it is the biggest gift that you'll ever have in your life, to have time, freedom, be able to express yourself in the way that your soul wants it to live off the earth. Just what more could people want?
Yeah. Freedom from noise as well. Even if you're not looking for that dimension at this present time, we all know what it's like to be stressed, excessive thinking, lack of ability to sleep, to function, to be so focused on something negative that you can't do anything else. And then once that stage is passed, you just realize that everything was fine anyway. So why bring the person into it? Why not just let life itself work out and sit peacefully and watch it? This is the ability, just to bring peace to your life. This is the key.
Wonderful. Fantastic. So that is our invitation to everybody listening, to come and join us on this journey. As I said, we're going to be doing 16 weeks, but we're going to be doing 8 shows over the 16 weeks. So our next show will be on the 12th of April, and we're going to tackle patience, yeah. Which is definitely a virtue that my husband will tell you that I need to learn. So that will be useful. And then, pardon?
I said perfect.
Yeah. How did you know that, Josh? That was very intuitive of you. And then we will be, as I said, we're creating Virtues program. So you can join us. You can sign up to the waiting list. I've just put the link in the comments. You can join us. You can sign up to the waiting list, or you can join the program ASAP. Basically, it's there. We're creating it. We're building a movement. As Josh said, the vision is to create these beautiful fruit farms and healing centers all across the globe, a community of people living virtuously, and really create the reality that we want to live in as a collective.
But we're only going to be building them on the top of the globe, because the rest of it, they all might fall off.
Well, we want to be somewhere warm, don't we? Because then
hopefully the Earth's flat and it might not happen. You never know.
Oh, I see what you mean. But we do want to be somewhere warm as well, because
the equator was there to equate all of us, and it's there giving perfect environment for us all to embody the most finest fruits. So that would be ideal. And if one chooses to live in the cold climates, we'll send the fruits to you. We'll make sure there's a service that we can grow enough that everybody can still receive the benefits.
Yeah, and we've talked, haven't we, about creating our own little microeconomy. You know, why not? If there's enough people living virtuously, we could have planes. You know, we can have our own transport system. We literally can create a whole new world.
You see, if 1,000 people were to put 1,000 in each, that's £1 million. Now, if you were to create a trust and a contract between certain airlines as such, well, you can just have your own, but the airspace, there's no need for any of this corona. There's no need for any of these things. And what we can do is have a private plane service that transports us through bookings around to our communities or to places in the world. So it would just be a trust, and all the 1,000 people that have spent 1,000, which is just one flight across the earth, you know, depending on how far you're flying, you get full access to this trust and this airline. And then we just need a pilot, which I'm sure there's many within the communities, and that is a service of ourselves. So just for 1 or 2 holidays, we've all accomplished a plane itself. And it's just small steps like this, and then before we know it, we've accumulated things, you know. And we don't need necessarily currency, because once you're working with the land itself, trees are abundant. The only thing that grows without interaction is a fruit tree. And what's the most important thing in the world? Is food. So that thing that we're growing can be traded or used for monetary purposes to create the abundance that comes in. So the most important thing that no one's really speaking of within the awareness within the truth community that's mainstream is that we all need to plant trees, plant fruit absolutely everywhere, so we can feed ourselves to the highest. So this is one of the things that we're going to be doing, planting thousands and hundreds of thousands of trees that produce fruit, not just leaves and nuts, fruit.
So it's a big vision, but I like it. It does it, as I said, it feels totally what's needed right now, you know, and having created a kind of global nonprofit that I didn't ever think, well, it's not that I didn't think it could exist, but it was a big vision, you know, 7-8 years ago. And that came to fruition because it had the right energy behind it. It was virtuous energy wanting to change the planet. You know, so this is exactly what we've got here, a massive, huge vision, but we've got the secret, haven't we, Josh?
The big secret, and it's much more fathomable and interactive than the secret that we've been presented previous to this. And as you progress through this, you're going to absolutely see, you're going to embody this, and you're going to be a product of it.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So guys, we're going to be back on the 12th of April, which is 2 weeks' time. This show will be up on my channel and also Josh's channel.
Mm-hmm.
We would love your support in sharing this episode. Obviously, this is a movement of people that we are creating. So we obviously want as many people to come on the journey with us. So we appreciate your love and your support. Thank you so much for being here, all of you, this evening. Mm-hmm. It's really, really appreciated. And, you know, if you see any groups that you feel that this video would be appropriate for, please help us spread the word. Please help us get the word out. As I said, you can join the waiting list this evening, or you can actually purchase the program from tonight. So I will put all the links in the show notes. It's going to be a hell of a journey. I can just feel it.
Mm-hmm. I look forward to seeing everyone's transformation and speaking with everyone, because we're going to be doing live Q&As as a part of this process as well. So yep. Interactive, we're going to be able to open up the doorways for you if you're finding points of sticking. And just know that we're truly here for you, as you. We're here to increase the vibration collectively and point you into the right direction, as it's only truly you who can walk there. It's down to you.
Yeah, and this is the work we need to be doing right now on the planet, isn't it?
If we outsource it, nothing's ever going to happen. If we look for someone to save us, which a lot of people did over Christmas, it's never going to happen. It's very important that we empower ourselves. The empowerment is the electromagnetic power of the mind. Now, within the language itself, R is 18, 18 is 2 9s. This is a reciprocating torus. EM itself, electromagnetism, E is 5, M is 13. They both add to 18, which is another reciprocation of energy. Numbers and letters cannot lie. The electromagnetic power is real, and it's available for you. And I suggest that we embody this, and we create this power inside of us that's so special, that's been lost for so many years, that we all have access to. And the time is now to bring it into being, to be able to show the truth, to be able to be the truth, so people can see the truth.
And I just want to share before we leave this evening. So me and Josh were having a bit of a joke during the week, because obviously, as you well know, everyone says, "Oh, stay safe" with regards to Corona. And Josh just said to me, "Stay present." And I was like, I love it. Stay present. Why do people need to stay present, Josh?
Because otherwise we drift off into a state of illusion or delusion, creating pain body experiences of the mind to separate us from this present moment of now, which is truly to be at one, to be at peace, to be in bliss with the self. It's a function. It's not a disease. We can do it. We can go into ourselves. We can change this. We are the programmers of this incredible device that we just have come into belief that it's just a body. It's not. It's a tool for this spiritual development within this realm. And you all have the power to change it yourself.
So you guys, you heard it here. Stay present. You're in a tool for enlightenment. Use it wisely. And we are going to see you back here on this channel on the 12th of April, same time, 7 o'clock till 8:30. Please share. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
We love you all very much. Take care. Stay safe. Stay present.
Stay present.
It's the only way.
It's the only way.
Stop the drama, do the dharma.
Drop the dharma, drop the drama, do the dharma.